Hi, it's Stephen Kramer again with some more ideas and opinions and questions. It's been a while. One of the questions I want to focus on today is how much the technology of interchangeable parts has changed our lives. When this technology first came out, they were worried about having interchangeable parts in guns. The US Congress decreed that those gun parts should be interchangeable so that one, on the field of battle, you could interchange them easily and not throw away a gun. And two, that guns would be easier and simpler to make. The second one didn't happen right away. In fact, it took 30, 40 years. And guns with interchangeable parts at first were incredibly expensive. However, the early gun makers invented processes and machinery that made interchangeable parts in large quantities, thereby reducing the capital cost per part and the cost of the machinery per part. And it started with guns, interchangeable parts with guns, and then it started spreading throughout all of Connecticut, Western Massachusetts, and then New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and you could start making all sorts of things with interchangeable parts. And some it mattered less. Like the fact that your hoe had a handle that could fit in other hoe heads, or your rake could be interchanged with other rakes. Well, perhaps that doesn't matter that much. Or that you could have a bell, and that bell was exactly like thousands, tens of thousands of other bells. Yeah, I don't think you were trying to replace bells that much. And sometimes it mattered more. Sewing machines were expensive. And so finding a part for a sewing machine, you wrote to the manufacturer, and hopefully he had a part that you could change with your sewing machine. So as interchangeable parts first came into use, they came into use on certain components: guns, sewing machines, farm utensils, and the like. However, over the years, it became a whole system that has changed our way of lives. Right now, I'm walking through a neighborhood. You can see around me homes that, to our eyes, look different. But I can tell you, those homes are made with interchangeable parts. I can go into the home and look at the outlets and bring in an outlet from the Lowe's or Home Depot down the way, and plug it right in. Take the one in the home out and put my new outlet in. Temperature controls. Something as finicky and complicated as that, interchangeable. In fact, you have a selection of interchangeable ones. You want a fancy temperature control or a cheaper temperature control, programmable, smart, interchangeable. Even the wood paneling can be cut to any length and fit up against other wood paneling. You can buy probably the same wood paneling that these houses were constructed with. That didn't happen 100 years ago, nor did it happen 10 years after the interchangeable parts revolution started. Because what I'm saying is it took time to continue. I think interchangeable houses and house parts, they probably didn't get standardized until 120, 130 years after the start of the revolution. So, what's the question? People say that we're in a revolution of AI. I like to call it the revolution of distributed intelligence. And for me, it's been going on for 30, 40 years. I've been watching its effects. I've been watching as white-collar jobs have changed. Think about how airline agents have changed. 30 years ago, you would call one up, talk to a person, arrange for a flight. But with the advent of the internet and the computer and sites like Kayak and Google, why call up an agent? Only in the most dire circumstances. So the jobs of those people arranging for flights, cars, and hotels disappeared 20 years ago. The fact that AI is coming on now is just another step. Maybe it's the entire gun rather than just the gun lock, if I'm to compare it with the revolution of interchangeable parts. But still, how much longer does it have to go? At what point will it influence our whole lives, and what will it look like? How will it integrate itself into our daily living? Or, as I'm doing now, my walk in the morning. Think about it. What will the distributed intelligence revolution look like in 50 years, 100 years? And how will our homes, our lives, the clothing we wear be different? It's a question. I'm not sure I know. No, I know I don't know. Okay, there's no way I can know. I hope to learn with you. Take care. Have a great day.